welcome to another episode of our mental health program. Again, I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Ann Stockman. She's a licensed clinical psychologist. So this next topic I am really excited to talk about. I frequently get asked in the clinic, what can I do to improve? How can I, age more gracefully? And all I know is exercise. I mean, yeah, that's vital, and I can certainly give advice on that. Right. You had written down the secrets of a cognitive super ager.
So
what is
part
that?
of it, you're already on it, is regular exercise.
Okay.
But you're the expert in that. Why? What does exercise do for us?
Well, number one, exercise can actually reduce the amount of inflammation in your body. For example, you have an osteoarthritic knee. That creates inflammation. Inflammation creates a cascade of effects in the body. Simple range of motion exercises, light, medium, can reverse those effects, which then are systemic, which then can help reverse diabetes, cardiovascular risk, depression. What else? Many chronic conditions. That's the exercise part.
Right.
So I love helping folks and teaching them to be independent with their exercise programs. Now, I'm really interested to hear about the other points to become a cognitive super ager.
Right. Well, we've been talking a lot today, Marty, about social isolation and the importance of having a social support system. That is another secret of super agers, is people who socialize with other people. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just people your own age, but people across the age spectrum. You know, when grandma goes and sees the grandkids, right? It could be that mix of ages that really can make a difference with socializing.
Fascinating.
Because your brain works differently. You're challenged by the situation. If you're just sitting home alone, you've got your very controlled environment. There aren't those kinds of challenges that go along, as well as, and I think we've talked about this, this is a piece from my EFT training and attachment theory, that we are born, before we're born, our brains are set up to be in relationship our entire lives. A baby is born expecting loving hands to hold it, to take care of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's normal. But a lot of us don't realize how important. It's easy to take family for granted until we don't have them. Or maybe somebody is deployed and moves thousands of miles away. Or many of us here in Alaska are very, very mobile, and our closest relative outside of the state may be a couple thousand miles away.
Right.
And you and I were talking earlier, how often do we connect with our friends and relatives? And many of us are kind of the left behind. People move out. This is a hard place to grow old in, even though we have a lot of resources, right?
So those viewers,
socializing.
So not only the viewers that are sort of looking to gain some perspective on becoming a super ager, the viewers that know of a loved one can help by reaching out to their loved one to help them become a cognitive super ager.
You bet.
Great.
And along with this is engaging in leisure activities.
Okay.
Doing things that are fun. Playing, moving, dancing. It could be playing cards. It could be anything.
Right.
But when we have fun, that taps a whole different side of us that we can release, we can let go, we can relax.
So, not to take the conversation off you, but when people ask me, what should I do for exercise? Whatever you like to do.
You bet.
I mean, for example, walking my dog. Great. You love your dog. Walk your dog. It doesn't necessarily have to be a treadmill or a bike or some, you know,
Yeah.
It could be gardening. We can make exercise out of gardening. So
Right.
the same
Right.
is to be a cognitive super ager, do something you enjoy.
Absolutely.
Leisure activities.
Because we're more likely to stick with it.
Right.
And by the way, back to the exercise, you probably know this. When we look at people who undertake an exercise program, who sticks with it in the long run and who doesn't? Research is very clear. If I have a buddy, if I have a trainer, if I have another human being that I'm accountable to,
Right.
if I say to myself, I'm going to go for a hike today, oh, the time comes along, I'm too tired, I've got errands, this and that, but I'm not going to leave my buddy waiting for me at the trailhead. I'm accountable.
Right.
I'm going to be there.
Find
So-
that partner.
Yes.
Make it a routine.
Absolutely.
Say every Monday, Wednesday,
Yes.
and Friday, I'll meet you here at
Yes.
6:30 a.m.
Or
That-
whatever.
You know, that's our schedule.
We're going to have fun.
Right.
We're going to socialize, and we're moving. So notice how that combination is
Yeah.
already hitting so many positives.
Go for a walk, then have coffee afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of coffee, those of us who eat more of a Mediterranean style diet,
Okay.
that is also, and I know that you have a nutritional segment to your program.
Coming soon. Yeah.
Yes, and it's all about that.
What is a Mediterranean diet?
So a lot of it is fresh fruits, fresh vegetables.
Yeah.
It's not no meats, but it's lighter on the meats, natural oils, olive oils. It's a balanced diet, whole grains.
Try to refrain from processed food with
If we can step back, but I
Yeah.
got to tell you, it's really hard for me to give up my protein powder.
Do you?
So, oh yeah. So you know, we get to pick and choose, but if we're eating in the direction of fresh, and my bias is locally grown,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And we're so lucky. We have, I don't know how many, probably 15 or more here in Anchorage, farmers markets.
Yeah.
And we have some of them year round.
Do we? Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah.
that. That's awesome.
So we also can look at our local resources, support local businesses,
Yep.
and eat well at the same time.
Well, there's a big difference on, you know, produce that shipped in 5 days ago versus you just
Yes.
picked it,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
We all know that.
Right. The other two secrets are people who have jobs, and even in retirement, we can consider volunteering a job,
Okay, yeah,
right?
Sure.
Or my job is going to be, I'm going to check up on the neighbors, or I volunteer at my church.
Yeah.
It can be a number of different things. But when we have a job, and I broadly define
Yeah,
that,
sure.
that has complex facts and complex information,
Okay.
that keeps my brain challenged. It
Sure.
keeps my brain going.
Makes sense.
So, you know, if we can think of like learning a second language, I have many friends who are doing that in
Wow.
retirement.
That sounds, yeah.
Or somebody who's never played a musical instrument, but they're learning how to read music,
Yeah.
and they're having fun. But the challenge of learning something that's complex
I see.
is going to keep our brains going, because just like you talked about, my word would be resilient, how resilient the body is, the brain is. And we now know that it's not that our neurons in our brains just die off. We can regenerate. We can grow slowly, but we can regrow the connections and create new connections.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a term that I often use in stroke rehab. It's called neuroplasticity.
Absolutely.
And essentially, we are rewiring pathways from the brain
Yes.
down to the rest of the body. The same thing can occur with these jobs,
Exactly.
these activities that
Yes.
are complex, that require multi-step.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So-
and then the last secret, which kind of flows with the job, is when we have a high quality education, and I believe it's never too late to learn.
Sure.
So take a class in something that's fun. Maybe you've always wanted to do photography but never had the time. It can be anything,
Sure.
right?
And with the availability of online classes, right?
Yes.
We don't ever even need to step in the classroom.
That's right.
Right? We can find maybe a local community college.
Yes.
Or just a local class that can be taken online.
Right.
Or, better yet, get out of the house and go take a class. But that sounds great.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is the super package
Okay.
of what do people do to really maximize their aging well
Awesome.
and
I
to
love it.
maximize their resilience.
I love it. Man, I cannot wait to share these points in my practice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.